we are kicking things off with the Celtics. The biggest hole in the team's performance looks even more gaping after just one day of the second round. We dive into why the center position has become a massive issue, looking at Neemias Queta's struggles and Nikola Vucevic's defensive woes, and whether Luka Garza ever truly earned the coaching staff's trust. This is a deep dive into the frontcourt deficiency.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This Jaylen 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the playoff picture. The Celtics' humiliation could get even worse in the upcoming series against the New York Knicks. We break down why the Knicks won't have the same exploitable holes the Celtics did, and how the team's performance against Philadelphia could further damage their standing. Now it's time to talk about Jaylen Brown. He has been in a running feud with NBA officials this season, leading to major blow-ups and significant fines. We explore Brown's recent online rants, including a recent explosion that cost him $35,000, and what he claims is an agenda behind the officiating calls. Finally, the latest update on that situation. We examine the NBA's decision to fine Jaylen Brown $50,000 following his latest complaints from the Celtics' Game 7 loss. Find out exactly what Brown said about the officiating crew's alleged agenda and what this fine means for his season moving forward. The Boston Celtics' struggles in the second round of the playoffs have exposed a significant vulnerability in their frontcourt, suggesting a major deficiency in their interior presence. Following a tough loss, analysis points to issues stemming from the center position, where the team lacked sufficient options. Neemias Queta struggled with discipline and foul trouble, while Nikola Vucevic was inefficient on defense, and Luka Garza failed to secure the coaching staff's full confidence. While facing Joel Embiid proved challenging, observers suggest the Celtics' issues may be more systemic than an individual matchup problem. In contrast, the New York Knicks dominated Game 1 by effectively attacking Joel Embiid and utilizing Karl-Anthony Towns, who delivered a standout performance with 17 points and 6 assists in 20 minutes. Meanwhile, the Western Conference semifinals showcased the impact of generational talent, with the Spurs anchored by Victor Wembanyama, who posted 11 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, and 12 blocks, even while playing below his expected standard. The Timberwolves managed to find offensive solutions while effectively containing the Spurs, led by the trio of Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, and Naz Reid. This trend of dominant big men is expected in the Eastern Conference matchup, with the Pistons relying on Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart against the Cavaliers' Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. The narrative suggests that the era of small ball is concluding, and the Celtics have a critical weakness in the middle. Despite a strong regular season and Jason Tatum's efforts, the team has suffered losses in key rotational players, signaling that the departures of Al Horford, Luke Kornet, and Kristaps Porzingis have created a gap. The path forward for Boston involves prioritizing substantial upgrades at the center position, likely targeting an all-star caliber player, to build the necessary depth for deep playoff contention. The Philadelphia 76ers face a significant test in their upcoming playoff series against the New York Knicks, a matchup that carries substantial implications for the Boston Celtics' standing. While the 76ers have recently achieved a remarkable comeback victory over the Celtics, this effort was primarily focused on advancing past the first round. Now, their performance against New York will determine the narrative surrounding the Celtics' overall playoff trajectory. There was prior speculation regarding a Celtics-Knicks playoff rematch, but that opportunity was missed. Instead, the 76ers are now slated to contend with the Knicks. Analysts suggest that the Knicks possess different strengths that the Celtics previously exploited, specifically citing the Celtics' lack of frontcourt depth. Furthermore, New York boasts an impressive bench depth that Philadelphia currently lacks, suggesting a more balanced matchup. While the current playoff run has been disappointing for the Celtics, the outcome of the Sixers-Knicks series could serve as a crucial turning point. If the 76ers successfully challenge the Knicks, it mitigates the damage done by the earlier playoff disappointments. Conversely, an embarrassment for Philadelphia would further highlight deficiencies in Boston's performance, suggesting they are not competitive at the Knicks level. The sentiment among observers is that the Celtics were perhaps victims of playing at the wrong time against a team peaking at the opportune moment. The success of the 76ers in this series could offer the only solace from the recent playoff setbacks. The possibility exists that the Knicks could ultimately make the Celtics look worse by failing to close out the series against Philadelphia. NBA star Jaylen Brown has faced renewed scrutiny following a public online rant directed at league officials, which has resulted in a significant fine. The incident follows a growing pattern of friction between Brown and NBA officiating this season, culminating in a previous ejection and a costly financial penalty. The most recent controversy arose after the Boston Celtics were eliminated from the playoffs, a period during which Brown was whistled for 10 offensive fouls. Following the postseason exit, Brown addressed the officiating on his Twitch stream, asserting that his complaints were justified. He contended that calls regarding push-offs were inconsistent and targeted specifically at him, suggesting an underlying agenda from the officials. Brown argued that the rule interpretation surrounding pushing off was inconsistent, noting that the general rule allows players to clear space as long as the arm is not fully extended, yet calls frequently contradict this understanding. He pointed out that this tactic is common among players, including Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that the targeting of him felt suspicious. Brown further alleged that he spoke with some referees who indicated that calls were influenced by reputation, stating, "So anytime Jaylen brings his arm up, just from reputation, just call it." Brown acknowledged that his 10 offensive fouls were significant, though he maintained that the officiating played a role in Boston's early playoff exit, suggesting that opposing teams exploited the officiating environment. This situation highlights the ongoing tension between player feedback, officiating consistency, and the interpretation of basketball rules within the NBA. Jaylen Brown has been fined by the NBA for recent complaints regarding game officials following the Boston Celtics' loss in Game 7 of the NBA playoffs against the Philadelphia 76ers. The fine, totaling $50,000, was announced by the NBA on Tuesday evening, citing public criticism of the officiating aired during a live stream. This marks the second such penalty for Brown this season, following a $35,000 fine in January for similar complaints. The NBA stated the fine was issued due to the public criticism directed at the officiating crew during the broadcast. During his stream, Brown expressed significant frustration, alleging that officials had an agenda to target him with offensive fouls throughout the series. Brown claimed that officials explicitly told him they planned to target him, stating, "I actually spoke to some refs, and they said there was an agenda going into each game. Anytime Jaylen brings his arm up, just from reputation, just call it." Brown further argued that the officiating crew responded to his regular season criticisms by aiming to lead the playoffs in offensive foul calls. The NBA's decision results in Brown incurring another financial penalty.